Hello, Fonschwein, and welcome back to the Eastern Front for the last time, maybe, in this Against the Tide DLC that we have been playing together. It's been uh, it's been a very fun time, honestly. I've never imagined that so many people would come to watch this stuff, you know. But I'm gonna talk a bit more about that later in the video. Let's just hit the next turn button and see what happens. So last turn we did route the Soviets here from these two nodes, which are the last two nodes which we can enter really on the map. We still have this thing down here, but of the what's not considered, or what I would consider the partisan part of the game, like anti-partisan operations. So in the conventional fighting we have truly gotten decisive control of the battlefield. Let's check out the next turn. So the situation in real life at the 19 o'clock, 24th of August 1943. At 15 o'clock, the Soviet forces launched another attack. After a massive artillery barrage, they went on the offensive, but they did not succeed in crossing the embankment in front of village Koritage. So basically this whole area, and gaining a foothold in the village. After suffering heavy losses, the Soviet forces retreated to the initial positions. So one can imagine that they have set up some kind of line of control here along the field and watching towards the Rolban or MSR going through the middle of the map here. So in all actuality, across these turns that we have played, what I can tell from all these reports that we're reading, or I'm guessing this is like a summary of the things that happen, basically. From you deduce it from different things in real life, like war diaries and such things of the units in the battle. But yeah, so what I can tell from like what we have played through, the front line was pretty static during these battles. They probably were very fierce, very very hard fought battles. In the beginning, we kind of mirrored the German or the real situation with clearing out these encircling elements of the Soviets here that tried to encircle Koritic. But after that, we did go on our own offensive, which the Germans here did not seem to match in real life. They held the line more so, and I mean, that is not so weird considering everything. So here we can see more mechanical breakdowns from the tanks and such things. The Soviets returned here to southern Sinaditsevka. We are looking at a minor victory across all of this. So that's interesting considering how the map looks. But in real life, I mean, say that I wasn't fighting this battle as just a vacuum in history. Because as we approach this battle, we're basically approaching it as a vacuum. What I mean by that is that we do not have to consider what happens after what we have done here in the game. If we take a look at our tank platoons, tank companies, they're all run to the ground. The men in the infantry companies, they have been severely depleted. So basically what I would say, if I could give a judgment like for our fighting force, like, or our fighting capabilities in this region or on this battlefield, I would say that we have been our offensive capability has been lost. We are now only capable of defensive battle as a whole. We have some units which still might be able to punch very strongly, or whatever you want to say, that have some capability for offense, like this, for example, the 3rd tank company of the 2nd tank regiment here. But that's one company across the whole front line. So yeah, I don't know what to say. It all would depend on, for me personally as a commander in this situation, if this was real life, it would all depend on how quick can I get reinforcements? Can I do we have any reserves to speak of? Am I getting new tanks? Am I getting new men? Am I getting new equipment? The situations for the Germans, you know, in the war, especially during this time of war, was that usually they couldn't, you know, they did not have access to working supply lines, basically. So yeah, I don't know what to say more than that. I don't know what we can do more here, really. We could, you know, try to trigger a battle against this, you know, core HQ here. I don't think anyone is too interested in seeing that. This is the thing. I haven't really checked with you guys if you want to see a last battle or what it is. But you know, what we could do, we could try to clear up the partisans here. Ooh, this platoon was not doing too hot. Let's switch them out. Flame tank platoon. Oh yeah, there's 3 per man. Okay, cool. There's only 3 crewmen to a flame tank. Interesting. Could give these guys a spotter as well. Let's see. Just a regular 10.5 centimeter. These tanks have completely run out of ammo. These tanks are nothing to talk about either. Yeah. See, maybe we can give them some kind of... Ooh, this one should be good in this kind of battle. That AT gun platoon is totally depleted as well. But this, the heavy infantry gun platoon, that is cool. Yeah, but these tanks, no way. Out of ammo, all broken down. There's no way. Could move up this unit has not seen that much action. Just hunt down these partisans here in the last battle. It's a bit almost, there's a Swedish word for it. I guess you could translate it to melancholy. I don't know how to say it in English, but in Swedish we call it vemod. You know, it's almost, you know, it's a happy feeling, but it's a sad feeling, but it's also happy, you know. Let's trigger a battle here. I don't know. We will see how this works out. Next turn. Oh, it's gonna be 2 battles. I don't know, this one looks a bit boring. I'll probably just edit it all together, you know. I'll talk a little bit about the campaign that has been, and, you know, I've been playing around this game and recording it for you guys since October last year, so, you know, it's been some time I've spent with you, and, you know, it's almost, people always talk about some kind of parasocial relationship between viewers and YouTubers, that the viewers get a parasocial relationship or whatever. But nobody talks about it the other way, because, you know, especially the people that comment regularly and such things, you know, you get to know each other a little bit, and it's interesting. I'll talk more about it though. Let's just get the battle started, guys. I'm sorry. I just want to talk so much. Let's get it started. Okay, so here we are. Let's try to... So, one viewer actually told me something very interesting that I learned way too late in this campaign. This thing, SVFM, should be read as Soviet farmstead, and that, I guess, is supposed to be read that's detached or something. Detached Soviet farmstead kommuner. So a Soviet farmstead, a sovkhoz, was a state-owned farm in, how can one say? So that's basically, maybe not the thing people know the most. I don't know how to phrase this. For example, you could have a farmstead, a regular farmstead would be, I don't know if this is supposed, I'm guessing it's supposed to represent kolkhoz, so a collective farmstead. So the state-owned farmstead was the sovkhoz, and the collectively owned one was the kolkhoz. So here we can actually see, we will be fighting, there we go, in an area which we have not, I think, seen a whole lot of. We have not been back here. There's been no reason for us, really. Let's see if we can... So here we have Kommunjar, the big one, just outside Koretich. Here we should be able to find wrecks and, you know, yeah, Soviet equipment. dead corpses. This has been a hard fought over area. As well as outside here in the fields and such things. But back here, this was our staging area, basically, if I remember everything correctly. We were entrenched back here with some, yeah, we can see our old, like, vehicle foxholes here. So we had some panthers here. Panthers. I don't want to, no, I've noticed the mic picks up some noises very well. Like, if I say panthers, that's probably gonna give like a, just say it and hold the hand in front of your mouth, just and say panther. You will feel that there's a lot of air moving. Anyway, too much yapping. I will set everything up and I will get back to you guys when I'm done with that. So see you in a bit. Okay, so here we go, guys. Let's check out the weather conditions before anything else. 19 o'clock, so it's getting a bit darker. With a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius, so a bit more manageable than earlier battles around 35, in the day. Under our command, we have 217 men in total, of which 111 of them are allocated to the first tank company. So, this tank should not have been really placed there, but it doesn't matter that much, because it's not that usable anyway. A lot of these tanks, you can see these guys on the back line, they're suffering from different, problems, either low on ammo, immobilized, damaged tanks, or both. Here I have gathered a little combat group of the remaining workable tanks, all of Soviet origin, with a mechanized infantry platoon. So here we have something that can do something, is what I'm trying to say. I did manage to spot that we have only scheduled support this battle. So this spotter over here has targetings all across this forest line, which is basically around where the enemy is setting up. We have a U-87 spotter over here as well. He will call in a airstrike of 3 Stukas. So hopefully on the left side here is what I'm thinking. And then, all the way over there. They will obviously not strike this position, but that's probably where they will fly to and reconnoiter, like, along the way of where they come from. Anyway. Also in the first tank company is Filian's platoon over here. So they are set up along the railroad to, not allow the Soviets to infiltrate. We move on to the next company, which should be, yes, the 9th company of the 6th tank division. Weird, 6th tank division. I don't think that's correct. I don't know. Anyway, this company is a bit of a hodgepodge unit, one could call it. You have elements from the 7th tank company of the 11th tank regiment. You have 9th company of the 4th motorized infantry regiment, and so on, and also these battalion-wide assets, which are the amazing flame tanks. They haven't been that good, but I mean, they're a novel unit to have, and they're all set up in such a way that each platoon here on the front line, or, well, this, how can you say it, line of control, basically, along the railroad here, as one flame tank, to support them. Up here on the right, we have a little group. The company commander is here. His spotter is here. Svere platoon, rifle platoon is here, and they are supported by 2 Panzer IVs. My ambition is to take or set up a phase line here, or to basically take the phase line, which is in my head over here towards the homestead. However, if you remember on the operational screen, start the game. If you remember on the operational screen, unit lost. Okay. See if those guys dismount them, as they have a tendency to do. The operational screen basically told us that, the Soviets bombarded heavily with artillery, in real life at this time. So all of these, victory points, or whatever you want to call them, like these, for example, and the homestead over here, they are, I would say, in the risk of taking heavy artillery fire. And that makes me a bit apprehensive to just move up instantly and take the baseline, could do though, I forgot, is to dismount Pink Platoon from the APCs. So these guys should get out, and after that I want them to here, not fast, take a recon line towards here maybe. Should work out. Okay, yeah, and here we go. Tank crew has been dismounted. They can take cover in this trench thing over here. So now we can see our first fire mission should be coming along anyway. I will get back to you guys though when we actually get contact with the enemy or things get a bit clearer. So the enemy is currently bombarding Sovkhoz Kommunyar over here heavily. So my suspicions were kind of correct. If I may lay out another suspicion, they will do the same towards here. Probably towards Bogati, Homestead over here. Kamishivati. I don't know. It's hard to read this if they're in like Roman letters. It's easier to read a Russian or Ukrainian word in Cyrillic. I don't know what all these, you know, two Y's, if it could be the V. I don't know how they want to translate it. Anyway, here we can see Lucas coming in for their attack run. Hopefully they don't misidentify their targets and spot our Russian Soviet manufacturer. Oh, first enemy contact. Yeah, well, hopefully they know where we are. Here we can see our first salvo of the incendiary as well. Beautiful. As I've said before, I wish these, you know, really lit, you know, whole forests on fire. It would be cool. I had that something similar happen in the Stepanovka campaign actually I played before, where I was able to light a big grass field on fire, or like a, you know, tiled farmland basically. Where did our Stukas go? You guys, hold on. Oh, they're up there. I was like, did they just fly over? Can we see them? Yeah. Oh, it's hard to get the angles right here. They are scanning the battlefield. And also now our wonderful French-made heavy infantry guns. I think they got into action a little bit here. Here we can see destroyed Soviet equipment ahead of us from earlier battles. Right now the Soviets are forming up in a place where we actually had a mechanized platoon in the beginning form up, take control of the railroad here. Those are the earliest episodes of this campaign, which I actually, you know, if you're just finding this video, or, you know, you joined in a bit later, I would recommend taking a look at them, you know. I do apologize though that my audio quality was a bit lousy back then, but I think they're still good episodes. For the most part. I had a bit more memes and such in them back then. I was basically, you know, just figuring out how to edit and stuff, and it was a good way to incorporate it into the videos, and I just, you know, I thought it was a bit funny. I've had some people think that, oh, it's too much, and, you know, it doesn't really fit the theme or anything. I've had other people who more see my vision with it, which is like the contrast in it, you know? Basically, what I'm thinking is that yes, it is a serious war game, and it talks about, or it's about a serious matter, but and that's all the more reason to, you know, create such a contrast, which, you know, leads to, it's a bit, you know, I have quite, you know, I don't think it, or maybe it shines through. Some people have highlighted some weird shit I've said in these videos, but I have quite, you know, dark humor. So maybe, I don't know if that shines through. Anyway, guys, what a campaign it's been. We have fought hard. Well and hard. We have really, as I said, we have made a choice here in our campaign to really, or I made the choice. You know, you guys didn't have so much to say in it, but to really go balls to the wall and use these tanks, you know, these Panthers that I got hands on for this campaign to their utmost, you know, I feel like. I believe partly it's more fun to watch, and also, you know, I'm very colored by the military thinking of the country which I'm brought up in, you know, or how can you say, the Swedish military thinking is very traditionally and historically very offensive. Even like during the Cold War, when a lot of it was like, oh, we have our mission is basically to, you know, defend ourselves against the Soviet invasion. A lot of the doctrine was still, you know, very offensive to, you know, defend yourself by being offensive in your actions. So, and also I'm a big student, I would say, of the German way of war, which is also, or places high, you know, importance on just, you know, offense, where defense is basically, you know, regarded to just be a status of, you know, transpiring into an offense. So you can notice that it's insane actually if you read about, you know, late war Germany, you know, 1944 to 45, and you're like, it's so over, guys, and they're still, you know, launching tactical offensives and sometimes even, you know, operational offensives. I don't remember what they're called, you know, was it Operations Conrad? They were numbered like Conrad 1, Conrad 2 during battles around Budapest, or I think they were, their objective was basically to provide a corridor into Budapest after the Battle of Budapest, and this is in like February 45. Green flare coming from here, by the way. Where they still managed to, you know, take train in a very effective and in my opinion, you know, very impressive manner, like late in the war, where they're basically, you know, all tanks are running on fumes, they have no ammo, they're repaired with like chewing gum and the mechanics hope and prayer, and still they manage to do these things. And if you wish to learn a bit more about why something like this is infatuating to me, and why it's also like not really something that won the war, I have a video on it on this channel. I will put up the picture of it. You can find it in the playlists as in the historical analysis playlist, where I talk a bit more about German, you know, military thinking in general, but also in more specifically like armored warfare during World War II. Why it was so successful, but also why this success didn't really translate into winning a war. Let's have you guys get on the firing line, like so they kinda follow the train, but kinda don't. The homestead has not been bombarded by the enemy's artillery, but this does not mean that I trust to just go in there. We could, however, leave the tanks to deal with, you know, the observing the homestead, and move Schwere to the left a bit here, so he and Ram platoon can work synergetically towards the Soviets. Here we have an enemy artillery barrage, very poorly placed in my opinion. But that's good for us. This guy, I don't know if this is the same Soviet he's been... Oh, okay. I understand. However, let's see if we can't do something like this. Oh, he got popped. Just as I was about to unleash hell on him with my heavy infantry guns. Oh, and now we can see here, just across the railroad, it looks like incendiary shells and a very tight spread. Or, you know, not a lot of dispersion, very much on target. Just a few meters more here to our right, and we would be goners. That's lucky for us. That would definitely, like, kill the last of Pink platoon here. Okay, so now we can see Schwere is getting into contact, so that means they can duck down. Ooh, get down, get down. First casualty. Okay, let's not force them to lay down anymore. There we go. Beautiful work. I think that was the... No, was the... This... platoon leader. Arnaud Knopf. That's such an odd name. But yeah, he got killed. Sucks to be you. Let's have them first of all move back here then and move along. I thought we could move a bit more freely along the railroad, but seems not. These guys have no vision towards... No, they will have a hard time getting eyes on those targets over there. Maybe they could, but you know. I don't want to enter his forest. I do not want to enter the Soviet's forest. But this flame tank is actually providing some MG fire towards the enemy, which is good. Anyway. What was I saying? What a you know, campaign it's been, truly. Now first we started off around here. The Soviets were really, their salient was bulging out here, you know, they were really trying to encircle Korotic. But we did do well in beating them back. We fought them all the way to Komenyar, all the way out, taking the Holban back here, and moving the front line all the way to the River Uda, which I'm very happy with. I'm very happy with our result. Some members of the platoon here are making the interesting choice of staying on this side of the railroad. That's suicide in my opinion, but you know. Machine gun is firing very... I mean, just get on the line, set up the damn MG and spray him down. Have these guys get up a little bit. Maybe they can get better, you know, just shuffle them about, see if the infantry can get some other positions up here on the railroad. Something like this, maybe. Could be good. And this tank should definitely, you know, plop itself down on this railroad track, get a bit more higher up, see a bit further. Vera moving nicely. Fire. That's a nice fire from this machine gunner. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you can hold exactly there. That's right where I want you, basically. Or, well, you're angled a bit bad, so that might affect your gun depression. Let's see if we can. I just want to get it exactly right. There we go, there we go, there we go. Stop, stop. No, I don't have enough command points to tell him to stop. No. Stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. No. Well, he will move up. Dang it, man, that's just true gravity moment. Pain. Wow, beautiful MGs coming here from the Panzer Force. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. They're all... how do you say it in English? They're not buttoned up, they're unbuttoned. Uppluckade, we would say in Swedish. So you, my guy, can just get the hell back. And it's almost like I want to use Michael tune as well here. Ooh, nice impact over here. But no, they're very nicely set up here. So, but what we can do is get this flame tank up in here. Let's see, let's see, let's see, let's see, let's see. Can we catch it? Can we catch it? This will have to do. That will have to be good enough. Okay, our first casualty has been... No, wait, I know our first casualty, that was Shveva. The majority of the platoon has no visual contact here. Solve that. Anyway, you guys, you know, I just wanted to ask you guys, you know, if you have had any favorite moments throughout the campaign or anything like that, you know, just please do share in the comments. I remember when I started out making these videos, I was like, you know, I was very keen on, you know, getting comments from you guys. It's because, you know, as I said back then, there's one thing, you know, if you get people that like your videos, that watch your videos, but you know, there's not really any way for me to, or I just like when people comment, you know, it makes me feel like I have some interaction with my viewers, and you know, a way for me to get to know you guys. And you know, the channel is small enough that I have usually, you know, the space to respond to any comment that's, you know, at least, I don't want to say worth responding to, but because some comments are, you know, everyone, or I would say 99% of people that comment are really nice, you know, but some are just, you know, nice video, and it's like, yeah, sometimes thanks, you know, sometimes I leave a heart, you know, but usually if someone has something with substance, not saying that it's without substance to just say I like a video, but you know, a bit, you know, yeah, well, thank you. I don't think they expect that much when they just want to leave their support, and that's super kind. But what I'm trying to get at is that, you know, if someone leaves something, you know, they maybe have a question, they have something to say, they have some tips, they have some, you know, reflections. I really enjoy that. It makes making these videos so worth it, you know. I'm really happy when I open up, you know, my YouTube app on the phone to watch a video of something myself. Now this is good. This is beautiful firing. You know, and I see this, like, you get a little notification, someone has commented, and it's like, oh, you wrote this, okay, cool. So you know, and I just wanted to say thank you to all the people who have, you know, I remember, you know, I can tell you guys this. I'm really happy for all the new subscribers, but I'm also really happy for the people that stuck with this whole playthrough. I remember people who commented on the first videos that still comment today. You know, it's very interesting, and I bet there are people, you know, that just lurk, you know, so shout out to you guys too that, you know, have watched all the videos without commenting or anything, you know, shout out to you guys as well, of course. But you know, it's just fun to have this, basically, you know, it's just fun. It's nice to reflect upon when you have fought in this campaign, or when we played through this campaign. And yeah, so shout out to everyone that's been watching, that's been commenting, supporting this shit. It's been really nice. It's been fun to play this with you guys. But anyway, what I was going to say is that, you know, if you have any moments of the campaign that, you know, think, oh, this was fun, or I remember this, you know, in particular, or whatever, this was, you know, good, please leave a comment and, you know, tell us all about it. And, you know, just say, oh, I remember this time when you fought there, and, you know, this happened, or and this happened, and this and that, you know. So we can all reminisce about past battles. As I've said in previous episodes, I would also have liked, you know, to just get access to the whole map. I don't need any units on it, just the whole map which we've fought through. No battles or anything, and, you know, so basically there wouldn't be this wall here. I could just keep going and, you know, look at the train, look at the taken out equipment, destroyed equipment, you know, and we could reflect on the battlefield together in that manner. But no way to do that, which is sad. So Schwere here is actually, especially this squad has taken 2 casualties. I think they're a bit. I would be very disappointed if I was their squad leader. The squad leader died out of embarrassment, honestly, because of this formation. Let's see if we can sparse them out a little bit. Now they shouldn't be so tight because this is insane. We can actually just have all of Schwere platoon set up in a sparse line towards the enemy because they're very tight, very close to each other. I'm not too impressed with it. And when that's done, we could probably advance with Ram. So let's now have Ram together with 2 flame tanks move up. I can hold this position. This looks decent. Yet again, targeting here in front of Pink platoon. They have narrowly escaped death a couple of times now. Crazy targeting that they can actually spot this thing, or this Soviet over here. That's crazy. No need to dwell on that anymore. If you survive, you survive. If you don't, you don't, you know? Seems like this Panzer is spotting something here. He could do well with moving up here, though. Good. Let's see if we can't have this tank move out like here, basically. A well. A little forced well. So meanwhile, this one provides overwatch from the original position. This one will move out towards forests for this little tree thing here. Red flares coming from the Soviets, what we like to see. Beautiful. BAM is nearly setting up. We can have Schwere attack towards the Soviets then. Tank move up here. Schwere, you can just chill out a bit there. Have these squads set up a bit further. And these guys move up here. Nice. So yeah, anyway guys, you know, more than just talking about what you liked in this campaign, maybe you have some suggestions for the next one. The DLC is already decided. I know a lot of people have been wishing this and that. I want to play Bird Grow, and it has a lot of, you know, it has a nice companion book that comes with it. So that will be really useful in my editing and, you know, telling of the story. So I think that will be a maybe, you know, I don't know if the whole playthrough will be like it, but, you know, at least some episodes will be a bit, you know, tied together with the companion book that comes with the DLC, so to say, which is also free on Steam, you know, under the DLC's rank up. Let's get him together with his colleague. You know, so it's for free up on Steam, you know, so you guys will be able to follow along in the companion book, you know, basically day by day, what's happening, which is gonna be, yeah, and here we can see enemy arch. No, that was actually our friendly tank shell impacting, I think. Anyway, you guys will be able to follow along with the book as I play, which will be pretty cool. But other than that, if you have any suggestions, you know, I had one commenter. Right, he was talking about some different ideas. For example, he was talking about, you know, maybe letting you guys decide a little bit about the game. You know, I will maybe lay out a couple of plans, or, you know, we can have some voting or voting, you know. I will have to say, guys, you know, being Swedish, W and V, very, you know, hard for me at least to discern, you know, the pronunciation in English. So these guys can hold, because why are they moving up further than I wanted them to? Suffer a casualty due to that. Anyway, so some words will be, you know, pronounced a bit weirdly. from my point of view. Here we go. Ooh, we were lucky that we didn't stay here, and we're lucky that it does not hit our company command post either. Oof, 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 oof. When this is done, we should move these guys. Anyway, so, you know, if you have any suggestions for the coming campaign, like something you want to see or whatever, I will obviously read it. Maybe not everything will be implemented, or maybe nothing will be implemented, or we will see. But just, you know, write if you have any suggestions on what you think should be done. These guys can actually move like so, I think. A good idea. But yeah, as I said earlier, there's a strange, almost melancholic feeling, however you want to put it, about fighting these battles. You know, it's been so fun to play this campaign. I'm hoping the next one will be just as much fun. You know, I have some other videos, video. I'm messing. I'm losing my mind on this English pronunciation. Ideas. I have some other ideas as well that I want to do. Or they will be related as well to Mius front, but I might just, I don't know if I want to spoil it, but I'm thinking about doing a new player's guide, basically, or more of a guide of how I learned to play Mius front, so to say, because people have been asking tutorials, but you know, I'm not that competent at the game, honestly. I know enough to play these campaigns, but I'm not like, you know, some real how can you say it? I don't have the occult knowledge that some of you guys have in the comment sections, basically. So I don't want to make I know there's so much detail to the game, and I know there's so many more people that are knowledgeable about the game, more so than me, which makes me a bit apprehensive to make a tutorial and say this is, you know, this is the definite way to play the game. More I would like to just, you know, make these videos from the perspective of, you know, this is how I have done it, and how I have learned to play the game, and so on and so on. Which, you know, how can one say, my videos might not help the player who has thousands of hours in this game, but it might help the guy who has 0 hours, and from there on he can, you know, learn to enjoy or learn to play the game for real. Or for real, you know, it's a single player game. There's not any formula. You could play this game as poorly as possible and lose every battle, and it wouldn't be per se playing it wrong. You know, there's no right or wrong in a single player game, or there isn't really in a multiplayer game either. You know, you play as you. I didn't even notice. These are the Soviets are prepared. They're dug in. They have some dug in positions at least. Interesting. See how it looks up here. Yeah. This is the shittiest position to take, you know, against Soviets. They're dug in and they're in a forest. Bad times, bad times. What I would like to do though is circle this tank over here. Get him over there. Have Filian get over there as well. Feels like we should be able to let go of control here, and Filian and Michael platoons will go through here along this path with the tank, clearing out the forest in that manner. Let's have these guys advance. Something like just straight on. Just straight on. Walk him down. Not maybe the best position for the Panzer. And you should almost move out here. That would be great. That would be great. Artillery. Over here on the Soviet position. This is not my rounds. This is Soviet artillery. Ooh, that forward observer is gonna get court-martialed. He will definitely be executed for this. That's a crazy fire mission. So over. For him. Sergei, I have told you multiple times to not drink Samagon when ordering fire mission. You guys don't know what Samagon is. It's it's basically Russian how do you say it? Moonshine. Very popular drink on the Eastern Front. Very popular for German soldiers as well that bartered with Soviet civilians and so on to get access to this secret potion. Moving across there is a death sentence. You have something very powerful observing your movement. What uniform was he wearing? Yeah. Looks almost greener than maybe it's the lightning, I don't know. He has red stripes along his pants, I don't know, some special uniform. A regular foot soldier, a regular even officer if we can find one. NCO, they're a bit more tan. Those guys were green, yeah, look here. Okay, pause. Is it just the lightning? Maybe those red lines are standard. Hold on. Okay. Let's compare. Might just be the lightning, but he looks almost a bit greener. Interesting. Beautiful work here from the Panzer IV. He can push out a bit more this way though. A bit obscured by bushes and stuff right now. Move up like that. That's gonna be amazing. Here you go. Now we can work. That's also a... no, those are our friendly 155ers impacting, I would say. Look at that. Amazing. Build up power. Okay. So, Michael platoon. You will have the ungrateful job of entering this forest. And Billion will also have the same job on this side. And you will move along the road. Up there. Good luck. I'm amazed that this officer has survived for so long. Where is he even going? This is... dude. No. Yeah, it's over. It's over. Armored platoon is just out there. There's no reason for you to do all that, man. Here, if we can't have Finks mechanized infantry, maybe. Beautiful. I don't know where I want to push them up. Or if I do want to push them up. Maybe the armor can work in of itself here. Something like this should be good. Okay. Can presume that this area is clear of Soviets. Or I will make an assumption to that and have the Panzer IV push up there. Good, the company commander has arrived. They can set up in a line just behind the platoons. Look at this, all these targeting vectors towards this one officer, but he's in a good position. I mean, shout out to him. Let's see, the tank has moved up nicely. Michael platoon should push out this way a bit. I think we finally got this officer. Died with revolver in hand. Like a cowboy. Cute little formation of different vehicles. As I've said before, I really do like these guys. And these are the Sonderkraftzeug 251, which has the big shield. The 250 had the small shield, a commenter taught me. So yeah, I was wondering why one of my APCs with the guns had like a small shield. I was like, this does not look good, guys. Why is this? But apparently they had small shields. The 250s and the 251s had a big gun shield. So you learn that's what I mean, you know. I like when people comment because I learn stuff like that, you know. You learn something new all the time. Now, Sverre, time for you to make your entry here. All kinds of support equipment is in place, so. Here we can see. As I said earlier, we're lucky that we moved out from this position. This is enough to incapacitate a whole rifle platoon without any issues. Here we can see enemy riflemen and machine gunners are forced to reveal themselves as a result of Sverre's push. This makes them ripe for the taking for our panzers. Green flares coming from here, interestingly enough. Did you have any HE left? Yeah. No? Out of HE. No? No, we do have HE. Good. Honestly. Chop with that flame tank. We are suffering further casualties. Let's let them just dig down. Seems like the Soviets might be abandoning their trench though. Yeah, does indeed seem that way. If we can have this tank, maybe. It would be cool to see the flamethrower in action one more time. Same time. Bomb platoon can push up ever so slightly here. The tank move up. Wonder why Michael hasn't gotten on with. Oh, they're waiting for the truck, which accidentally was ordered as well. Weird. Or, well, not weird, but it happened. Maybe you can get eyes on this Soviet. Maybe you can, you know, let loose with the flamethrower. I don't know. The enemy has asked for a ceasefire a long time ago. Just didn't notice it. They're rolling up on the... That's gruesome. That is gruesome. Okay. Lucky. Rolling up on the conquered enemy position. Very nice. Finding old Soviet ammo boxes and stuff here among their old built-in trenches. Swear, taking casualty. Okay, nice. Answer 3 has clear line of sight down the road here, which will make the infantry's job a whole lot easier. Now let's just make sure that we get all of our infantry components on the line nicely before we do anything else. We can set up defense in the old enemy trenches here. If we can have Sverre push out like this. Friendly tanks in support. Okay. This infantry is getting ready for push out to this crossroad here. Crazy visuals in this game, honestly. Beautiful. Very, very atmospheric. I mean, it's something else. It's like playing a tabletop war game almost, you know. I've never done that really. I would really like to actually get into, you know, more traditional wargaming. It would be pretty cool. And also, you know, painting models and stuff. And yeah, those are two different things almost. But, you know, I've seen, I think both things are cool. You know, extremely nerdy interests, I would say. But I am a huge nerd as well. So obviously I'm gonna like stuff like that. And it's nice. It's nice as well to, you know, have these kinds of interests that, in my opinion, are a bit more, you know, conductive to, how can you say it, almost like a more balanced life. You know, if your only interest is, you know, getting drunk on the weekends, partying, you don't work out, you don't do anything like this. I mean, I don't think that's like a good way to live your life in the long run. Maybe when you're young, you know, but in general, I would say it's a waste of time. Okay, someone's firing from here. Get the tank on it. Not trying to diss anyone, by the way, that likes to party and drink and stuff like that. It's just not my cup of tea, and it's also something I would view as, you know, in the long run, not a healthy lifestyle. I believe trying to further your, like, how can you say it? Both, ooh, he got popped. You know, both your physical and mental state be as good as possible. I believe that is, in the long run, it gives you more, how can you say it? More satisfaction. Something like when you talk about instant gratification or in the long run, you know. Ooh, enemy. You say it, AT rifle. You are in the risk, my friend. You are in the risk zone of the AT rifle, definitely. Definitively. No. Angle towards the AT. Angle towards the anti-tank asset. Please. Interesting. I don't know how this would ever work out. That firing line. Have these guys push out. Beautiful. Have the tank move up. Probably gonna call it quits for this battle pretty soon. Even though I would like to play on forever, you know. But this battle was not that. It's not the most fun one we've had. You know, it's not the most engaging. It was a battle among other battles. As so many of this campaign were. Some were truly dramatic, though. You know, in a way that makes you really, really impressed with the game. In my opinion. I don't know. Green flare coming from here. Did we miss a Soviet out here? Might be a Soviet officer sneaking about back here. Did you guys put yourself on fire? Or are you just stupid? Let's have them push up. So they stop running around like headless chickens. Yeah, he got himself on fire. Stop this. Stop this. Don't put yourselves on fire, please. Oh, they're gonna do stupid stuff. Anyway. Please, flamethrower tank, please burn down the forest. Ooh, you guys, hold. Ooh, no, it's over. It's so over. Look at this, dude. It's the grenadier. That's how the Soviets roll. Did you see that? 3 grenades just. Kaboom, kaboom. How can you like possibly fight like against that? They just spam those strong ass grenades. And with that, we will take the ceasefire. That just pissed me off. I won't have my cozy last battle destroyed by something like a grenade spamming Soviet. Even if he met his fate, I don't care. Don't care. We're gonna move on to other things soon anyway. New campaign to be played, other videos to be made. So let's see here what the final tally for this operation was. Okay, quite a hefty amount of platoons anyway. Very low in strength. They had no heavy assets to speak of. We lost territory here, huh? Or wait. Lost difference was enemy losses minus allied losses. I don't know. No wait. We definitely won train. This is why? Oh, I don't care about these things anyway. I usually just look at train take and platoons destroyed and you know, infantry or vehicles destroyed and all of that, and kills, of course, or casualties. So yeah, these were some ragtag Soviet groups here put together trying to defend. Yeah. Let's see, did we have any interesting moments that happened towards our own friendlies? I don't think so. I wonder what the Soviet... They said they had a destroyed... Let's see here. They had a vehicle lost. Heavy weapons. Soviets lost a vehicle. What did we... They had no tanks. They had 1 transport. I didn't even notice that. Where? Can't find anything that tells me this. I don't see any heavy weapons either. Anyway, let's get back to the operational map. Okay. And we won't get a second battle. And that's fine by me. What an amazing, amazing campaign it's been. Truly. I wonder what happens next turn. Here we go. Outcome. Until August 29th, the Soviet forces of 5th Guards Tank Army and 53rd Army were still trying to attack Koretich here. Raya Linovka here. Koretich here. Sovkhoz Kominyar here. And Raya Linovka, so the battle line is basically here. All attempts to dislodge the Germans from these settlements ended in failure. By August 29th, the German forces completed their tasks. They delayed the advancement of the Soviet forces and created a new defensive line to the south along the river. What is this word? Mzha. Mzha. This is some real Ukrainian, almost Polish shit, when they do this. Um, Very hard to pronounce. I can pronounce, I'm decent at Russian, kinda. But when they do this, I remember when I was in Poland, trying to read anything. Anyway, on the 9th of August 29th began an ordered retreat to this line. By morning, 5th Guards tank army units occupied the central parts of village Koritic and Sovkhoz Kommunyar. Minor victory. So this was a delaying action, and in real life, if we had done this in real life, it would have been all for nothing, basically. They would still have to retreat south, and we would have just lost men and material in, to no real use. However, one thing that we can take from all of this, I would say, is that you can reduce your losses by advancing too. Say, for example, we were bound to these specific places. This defensive line from Sovkhoz Kommunyar all the way to Rayelinoka with Koritic in between. The enemy's artillery would quickly, figure out where we were. We would keep, if you remember, some of the bloodiest fighting in this campaign was right here in Koritic in the house to house fighting. So what I'm trying to get at is that, rather than staying here, and just platoon after platoon getting dismembered by artillery here, or destroyed by artillery, taking the battle to the field and keeping the battle dynamic with new positions each and every hour makes for it hard. It makes it harder to, how can you say it, for the enemy to really get a grasp of us. So, there's something to be said for that. But if we look at the field on the HKL, as the Germans would have said, the Hauptkampflinie, or the main front line, there's nothing left of the Soviets. I don't know what to say other than it's weird to say that you're proud of your result, but in this case I could maybe say so. The only unit that is left viable here is what would this be? Is this the first company of the 656th Rifle Regiment? Maybe. But look at this, they have still Soviets, these platoons are healthy. Even here, it's I want to almost know how many reserves they had in the year, how many units they had in reserve throughout this whole campaign. It always felt like we were battling uphill, but if you look at this, encircle defeated, routed, encircle defeated, routed, it's a beautiful thing to see. I would say the 5th Guards Tank Army and the 53rd Army have effectively been destroyed in all these battles. They were already, coming into the battle, very depleted units, so were we. So yeah, here we can see encircled units. However, let's take a look at the statistics of the campaign, the summary statistics. So this is quite interesting in this game, though. We have to keep in mind that these are not like in other games. These are estimations, or kind of how you can say, for example, our this is an estimation of how many tanks, how many soldiers were killed, how many tanks were destroyed, and so on. We know our own losses pretty well, but we don't know exactly how much we have, how much damage we've dealt to the enemy. But anyway, we have lost around 1,300 men out of 7,600. We managed to keep our tank losses very low. We only had 53 tanks in total, but so that's fewer than I would just say off the top of my head. But we only lost 3 of them. We kept our losses, in the heavy equipment category, very low, not counting all the mission killed tanks. I would say we have very few healthy tank companies on the map here. A lot of these tank companies are, maybe some crewmen were killed, maybe most of the tanks are in non-workable condition. So I would say that in general our tanks are not doing that well. But yeah, the enemy is suffering from worse losses, at least here. So of our own personnel, let's see here. Yeah. Oh wait, 1622 are wounded, 633 heavily. Excuse me. 633 heavily wounded, 86 only captured and missing, 561 killed. So, if we compare 86 captured to the Soviets, we basically, we had several battles where we captured more men than 86 just in a single battle. So yeah, here we can see the Soviet estimates. And so we say we have killed 5,782 men. They say they have lost 5,766 men. But here, look at this. 2,367 men captured. That is very good. That is very, very good. So we had a good, casualty ratio towards the Soviets. And look at this. They lost 102 tanks. I think that was every single tank maybe they had in this operation. I don't know. They lost more tanks than they started out with. A lot of guns and MGs killed, not that many though. APCs and trucks took a toll too. They estimated to have killed around 2,000 of us. 3 tanks as well. And I mean, if we compare 3 tanks destroyed to our losses, yes, we lost 3 tanks here, 3 out of 53. So that's accurate. They underestimated themselves on destroyed guns and MGs, and overestimated soldiers and APCs killed, as this is how I understand this operation statistics to be. The operation was 41 hours in total, work week. But yeah, we maybe overestimated with like 20 men how many casualties we gave the Soviets, so to say. But yeah, it's not the most, it's not the craziest thing to see. These kinds of loss ratios were very common on the Eastern Front. The Soviets in general lost more men throughout the whole war in individual battles. But what you have to take into account here as well is that, they had the capacity to take those losses in a totally different way. And I think we can really see this here in this game because, I mean, yes, we have these platoons, we have these companies, but none of them are healthy. The Soviets could, in real life, just bring up new armies. They could reinforce, they could rebuild these destroyed armies in a way that the Germans were woefully unequipped to do. Very, how can you say it? I mean, almost when you look at it, as I've said, if you look at my earlier, like the video I mentioned earlier about, which I made about this historical analysis, you have to almost wonder, like, sometimes what they were thinking invading this country and, imagining how easy it would go. I mean, they had something to back it up with. They had recently invaded France. If you compare it to World War One, how did the Western Front look for the Germans compared to the Eastern Front? The Eastern Front, they could basically, it was a cakewalk compared to France. France was the real enemy. So, they had this in the back of their mind, and when they steamrolled France in, 1940, this famous saying by Adolf Hitler that, you just need to knock on the door of the Soviet establishment and the whole structure would just fall apart. I mean, you can say that, okay, he had a bit of hubris, of course, yeah, but also, if you look at it historically, it's not the most unreasonable take for the time being. However, with like what we know now, it's easy for me to say that what were they even thinking, because yeah, what were they even thinking, but at the time it wasn't the most unreasonable thing to imagine. I would say that the Soviets would be a lot easier, or like a very easy enemy to deal with, and in many cases they were for the Wehrmacht. they obviously, you know, had the tactical advantage, but in other ways they were a nightmare to deal with. So I think this, you know, campaign has almost illustrated that a bit. You know, we have had tactical victories, but I'm having a hard time calling this operation anything other than a tactical victory. Yes, we pushed them out the river, we have destroyed their beachhead, we have, you know, reduced them severely, we have, you know, destroyed commands, we have done this and that and so on. But I mean, just look at this core HQ, it's not doing good. But other than that, you know, what have we really done, you know? Yes, we have won this battle, but there will be thousands to follow, or hundreds, you know. And these losses that we took, and, you know, these tanks that are no longer really operational, you know, do we have the time to, would the Germans have the time to send back, you know, the tunes of Panthers to be refitted, you know, back in in Germany, and get them back on the front line? You know, we would leave holes in the front line. We need to reinforce these companies. Every man lost is a big, you know, blow, especially when you consider that we're in 1943. The Wehrmacht is not the same as it was in 41. A lot of already, you know, very highly educated and well-trained personnel and officers have been killed already. These are not the best men that Germany could produce in the war that we've been fighting with here. And, you know, it's worthwhile to think about all this. Anyway, I don't know what more to say in this video. It's been such an amazing time, I believe, to have played this game with you guys, and I'm how can you say it? I'm humbled to be the person that you have chosen to watch throughout all of this. It's very, I'm greatly appreciative of all of it, of all of you guys, and I hope I so much, how can you say it? I very much hope that you guys have enjoyed this as much as I have, and that you had a great viewing experience. I will make sure to make the next campaign even better and learn from something from what I've, you know, learned through this video. And yeah, I will take all these wisdoms, or what you can say, into the next video and into the next campaign and make something even better. So I'm happy to be the person that you choose to watch, and I'm happy that I get to show this game to a wider audience, and hopefully some of you guys have, you know, bought the game. I know I've, you know, and that is something that really makes it, you know, fun to me to play this game, is that I upload these videos and people write like, oh, I bought this game thanks to you, and now I'm having great fun. I'm having a great time with it because, you know, it's an older game, and but there's nothing else in the that really matches it to this day. So I'm happy to see new players actually finding this game, just as I did last year. So anyway, with those words, thank you all for having watched this campaign. Thank you for having watched this video. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.